everyone is doing pretty well. I'm so excited to welcome you again to our forum's product showcase session today. As you know, in the past, when we entered, into Agile and DevOps kind of software engineering methodologies, speed was always a challenge, and completing the complete test automation within the sprint cycle was also a challenge that impacted significantly the go-to-market time and also had significant impact on the quality outcomes. And today, we are looking at leveraging the power of the futuristic technologies like AI, generative AI, for the automation tools like low code, no code, or the tools that use simple English like commands in order to accelerate your scripting and doing the script maintenance quickly, executing the test suite multiple times, and so on, in order to bring all those beauties of the futuristic automation platform. I think we are going to see that when we review such futuristic tool called testRigor. But just wanted to kind of cover here that the evolution of the automation tools have seen all these phases, like from record and play to low code, no code kind of journey. So without much ado, let's get started. I have Artem Goluev today, who is the CEO of testRigor, and let's get started. Artem, welcome to Test Automation Forum's product showcase session. I'm so excited to learn more about testRigor and most importantly, talking a very experienced person like you who brings so much of experience, so much of kind of insightful thoughts around automation industry. I'm so excited about that. So welcome again, Artem. Thanks for taking time and joining me for this discussion today.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
All right. So as we get started, I think, Artem, if you can give a quick intro about you, your responsibilities at testRigor, and when testRigor actually entered the market and where we stand today. I think that would be a great point to start this discussion, Artem.
Absolutely. Well, testRigor, we started working on it from late 2015. So I have been around for a little bit of time now. And right now, we serve wide variety of companies, ranging from smaller startups all the way to enterprises such as Burger King, Cisco, Netflix, Infor, United States Department of Agriculture, MLB, and some banks like Michigan, and so on and so forth.
Awesome. No, that's great to see. You have a huge and large enterprises also, starting from startup to large enterprises, as you showcased. In the past, we have seen the evolution of the test automation platforms, right? We have seen the first generation, like where our test automation engineers, they recorded and then they ran their script, right? They were not in a position to program. And then, second generation came where we had different types of framework and, keyword-driven framework, data-driven framework, then, BDD, TDD, hybrid type of framework came into picture. And now when we entered DevOps and we are maturing in DevOps, we now started using low code or no code kind of, automation platforms. So where do you think the test automation industry is heading now? I know generative AI is in the kind of, it's a buzzword now. It's in the horizon. We also started seeing some tools like testRigor bringing the power of generative AI into action in order to help the test engineer, testing community to optimize their, the cycle time, the cost, and so on, right? So what do you think? Would you like to share your thoughts where we are heading, where the test automation industry is heading today?
Yes. So, like as you mentioned, companies often mature to a point of CD, and at some point, they realize that it's not really scalable because test maintenance wear people down, and to a point where we can't really build effectively enough automation to cover the functionality. So then this is exactly what generative AI helps to solve. So it enables people to abstract away from details of implementation and have tests purely from end user's perspective. And well, I believe that's the future going forward because that's the only way how it can be scalable. Everybody, like literally, almost every tool will be enabled with this kind of technology because it just allows you to not just build the tests faster, but also make sure you can continue building tests even though there are minute changes in rendering. Some divs appearing, tables are rendered differently now, and so on and so forth. And that's, as I can see, only possible with generative AI. For it's really unclear, frankly speaking, where it's all heading. From generative AI perspective, but I believe in a foreseeable future, generative AI is a huge enabler for people with all backgrounds to be able to build tests, automated tests, 20 times more effectively compared to what we were able to do before, and scale. So this is what I believe is happening and will be happening going forward. It's just a huge enabler making people order of magnitude more productive.
Got it. No, thank you for that insight. And one more question comes to my mind is, we have a lot of knowledge in the industry around testing the classic applications like web applications, mobile applications, and so on. But now we see a lot of AI based applications, deep learning, machine learning based applications are also being developed, right? And also being adopted by enterprises. And testing this type of applications is not that easy, right? And manually testing AI applications, I think it is not really practical, I would say. There would be certain areas where the test engineers might miss really evaluating the effectiveness, the security, the performance, the reliability part of the application, and so on. So what do you think our approach should be to test an AI-based application?
Like, well, in that sense, for new features, I guess manual testing should be done, right? Because like you have to make sure everything's fine. A lot of people are doing that, right? So as soon as there is a new branch, people validating it manually before doing anything. And even if there is a more effective approach, I'm happy to talk about it in a second. Still, I believe there should be a little bit of manual testing. However, when we're talking about regression testing, the amount of testing is piling up, and piling up, right? So there will be more and more AI-based features, and the only way to validate AI-based features is using AI. So we have features like these where you can ask AI, hey, is this graph growing, right? Is the red part of a pie chart larger than the green part of the pie chart? So we'll validate that the red part is larger than the green part. Validate that the last response by AI agent is positive and conveying such and such. So you can express from high level perspective the points that you want to validate. And even though the actual response might even differ every single time you see that, it does not matter, because as soon as your points are validated and you're achieving what you're supposed to achieve with AI, this is where the like ability to add automated regression is coming into play. By the way, I would like to extend the previous answer and talk a little bit about additional, more efficient processes that generative AI specifically is adding to the picture. So you have mentioned BDD.
Yes.
What we have seen in the United States, majority of people do not use BDD. We have tens of thousands of directors of QA, and the most frequent feedback was that, hey, we tried BDD and we're doing now more things, getting the same value. So like their managers were not happy about it, so we had to cut it off because we couldn't prove the ROI. With generative AI, it actually can revitalize it and make BDD actually work the way it was supposed to work. Whereas if you think about it, product managers are already writing specifications in English usually, and we building some kind of wireframes, diagrams, and such. You can use that information today and generate end-to-end tests. With testRigor, it is easily possible, and then make those tests executable before engineers write the code, because the tests themselves are in plain English. Yes, we will be failing. That's the whole point of it. But as the job of engineers would be to just make those test cases green. And that would help also to improve software engineering process, to reduce rework and reduce amount of bugs, which oftentimes code after the fact. So think about it. The struggle with traditional process is that product managers write the specification, then engineers write the code. Even if people do BDD and write more detailed specifications, it is still not enough. Engineers still can ignore that, do whatever we want. Like there is basically no accountability. It's roughly like the same. And then key automation engineers try to catch up and automate away those specifications after the code has been released. But the sprints are limited because it's after the fact. You might not even have enough time to catch up with what engineers have written. So, and this is where the lag becomes to increase and increase. And especially people are started to be wear down by maintenance And if we need to update the existing tests first, we might not even have time to build the new tests, because let's say the code broke an existing test. Well, this probably would be the priority to fix existing tests, and that's it. The sprint is over. You can't even dedicate time to build new tests anymore. So this is where the moving QA automation before engineers write the code without any reliance on engineers whatsoever. So we can write it the way we want. It does not matter, because as soon as the executable specifications will become green, this is the only thing that matters. So now and it will basically plug into existing processes. If product managers are not willing to write detailed or don't have time to write detailed explanations of how features should work, right? They're not willing to use Gherkin and so on and so forth. It all doesn't matter, because this is where QA will come in and basically make sure that generated test cases reflect what product managers are doing, and then make sure all the steps in those test cases actually exactly what it should be. So there will be some key automation working here, and product managers, trust me, they're not going to do it. It's because it's pure key automation work, and product managers just not willing to do things like this. And then, but point being, it is it's work done before the engineering, and now people who are playing catch up are engineers. So think about it. So the QA engineers now in the front, and the whole coding starts when QA engineers are done, not after. And it is beneficial because there are statistics that this kind of processes, even with traditional BDD, help to save engineers anywhere between 30 to 40% of their time on rework. So there is an easy sell to engineering to push for this new process, and everybody will be happy. Product managers will be happy because we will be able to review what QA automation have done. QA automation will be happy because we are not catching up. We are not the people who playing catch up and never can catch up because of maintenance. They are the people who are doing it upfront first, and working with product managers mostly, not engineers. And engineers will be happy because we have detailed tests in advance. They don't have to run around and constantly ping product managers how we do that, how we do this. There is literally executable code. We run it. It is a red or green. That's it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that point, Artem, right? In a sprint cycle, using the traditional automation approach, it's very difficult to achieve the automation coverage within the cycle, right? And as you rightly said, right, any change in the code might lead to a lot of rework. That will also significantly delay, the maintenance work, execution, and any kind of new feature enhancement, the script development for those areas. It will take a long time, and maybe we might miss the target, the sprint deadlines. And in the new process that you just explained, I can easily visualize where we are heading in terms of leveraging the power of this, BDD, AI, and all that. We do not need to wait until the code is ready, right? The test engineers can still leverage their, plain English script, maybe low code script, and that would be ready once the code is ready. That can be executed. So we'll be on time in terms of meeting, the sprint timelines. So I absolutely agree. Thank you very much, Artem. That was very helpful, description around using a traditional Selenium-based framework, the traditional approach. And now when we talk about, futuristic approach using BDD and all that, the benefits around that. So with that, I can't wait anymore to see a quick demo, Atem. If you would like to, take us through a quick demo around the platform, testRigor, I think that would be very helpful for our followers. So over to you, Atem, for the demo.
Yeah, first of all, let me talk a little bit on high level what testRigor is and what problems does it solve and how does it work. So testRigor is plain English as executable language. Everything in testRigor is in plain English, plain text. So that number one problem that we help our customers to solve is test maintenance. If you compare the login test on the left with the Selenium, and on the right, it is the same exact test with testRigor. So you can see there's a huge difference, first of all, in how much less code you need to write, and most importantly, you can probably guess the stability would be order of magnitude different. So the the problem with traditional approach to automation is reliance on details of implementation. Here, as you can see, the test relies on IDs and name, this ridiculous XPath, the CSS selectors, data test IDs, it doesn't matter. So this is all details of implementation, how engineers wrote the code yesterday, as opposed to how it should function from end user's perspective. And of course, those details of implementation change all the time, especially with XPaths and CSS selectors, which breaks automation for no particular reason. And this is where this frustrating amount of test maintenance come in, and it is expensive to fix the test. Think about it. If test is broken, you need to start this testing, go all the way through, find the right place, and then figure out, okay, is it actually a bug or the XPath has changed for this button or something like that. And then you need to get this new XPath, update the test, and then go through SDLC to fix the tests. That is gigantic amount of overhead for something that engineer might not even notice or might not have control over. Today in 2024, engineers oftentimes do not control how stuff is being rendered, because to be an efficient engineer, you have to use third-party libraries which do the majority of work for you. And therefore, like you're updating, for example, from Angular to React, your IDs might vanish. So all of your automation will break, or as an engineer, you're using library to render your tables. Today, it is HTML table with TRs and TDs. Tomorrow, the new version of the library renders it purely with divs and CSS-based rendering for tables, no TRTDs. Again, all tests are broken because you might have relied on the fact that tables are tables and not divs. And engineers might not even have control over it, because all we did is we updated the version of the library to get the new feature which we are required to get by new specification. To avoid all of that, you can just express the test from an user's perspective. And in this particular example, as soon as login works, not only, as you can see, there is zero reliance on any details implementation whatsoever, but also there is no even reliance on how exactly login works. It could be one-step login where you provide username and password and click login. Tomorrow you might migrate to two-step login. First provide username, continue, and then provide password and click login. Day after tomorrow, it might be third-party single sign-on services like Auth0 or something like that. It all doesn't matter. As soon as you can log in with the same credentials, you will be able to do that. So that's the whole point. And what does it mean is you can actually scale quality assurance because you can actually continue to build tests even though you have tens of thousands of or hundreds of thousands of test cases already automated. You will not drown in test maintenance. What we see on average, the automation engineer, it becomes a full-time job to just maintain existing test cases at around 300 test cases per person. So once you reach that number, that's it, you stopped and you can't build any more test automation. With testRigor, because there is no reliance on details of implementation and therefore overwhelming maintenance, you will be able to continue to build tests. That's the whole point. Anyway, without further ado, let me show you a quick demo.
Yeah.
So let's do the...
Looking at the script page, Atom, what I could see is a lot of, simplification has been done, right? Instead of writing so many lines of code, you just log in and check for a particular data, I think data validation, right? So it's so simple, so clean, right, from scripting side. That looks awesome.
Yes. Thank you. So let's do Best Buy example. So let's do the web testing. testRigor supports web, native mobile, desktop, so on and so forth. You usually would provide username and password. Remember to log in. You don't need username and password. And it will be stored securely if you provide in here, not in the test itself. And then we will ask it to build one test. We will use vision so that AI can see what it is doing. And let's write a description of this system. This is an e-commerce, online commerce website selling electronics. Purchase items like Kindle without logging. So I usually write this in the subdescription. You probably wouldn't do that because by default, if you generate the test for this description, it would want you to log in because it is more frequent way and more important way of purchasing stuff is where you have logged in users purchasing things. Think about Amazon. You're most probably logged in when you're buying items on Amazon. So to hint the system that you don't have to do it because we will not be providing username and password, I added this. But here you usually would copy paste the product manager provided description of the whole system under test, such that this description will be used for context. So AI needs to have context of what is going on. Why are you asking me to do all these things? What does the system do in general? This is very important because when you are building tests, you do have that context. You know what kind of company you work for, what kind of company you're building tests for, what kind of project you're building tests for. AI doesn't. And it is to get better results from it, you want to provide this kind of description. Anyway, it's suggested based on the description. to build this test case, and all we need to do it is click add and build. And then testRigor will kick off building that test just based on the description itself. So it will be using that overall application description, which we have provided. It will be using this name of the test case, and it will be using the screenshots in them. But most importantly, one is probably most important features for testRigor is ability to import manual test cases where you can copy paste them. You can import directly from testRail. I'll show you an example of how it might look like. For example, you have a test case, test heading card, and then you will do something like find and select a Kindle, add it to the shopping cart, and proceed with the cart. So the manual test case might look something like that. So you can just copy paste it and say run, and it say, hey, it will say this is not basic commands. This is something I do not recognize. Should we use AI? Yes, please. And off it goes in there. So how how testRigor works in general, and I'll show you this is what it is doing for remember the prompt. Verify purchase of Kindle as a guest user. It figured out to enter Kindle and to search in there. And then it clicked on specific Kindle, added it to cart, and then into cart. And there you go, it's already in the cart. And then it went ahead to the checkout. As you can see here, there are more specific commands like click checkout and stuff like that. And this is exactly how testRigor works. So it gets your free-flowing English, and then it figures out what specific steps should be done step by step for it, figuring out each step on the way. And the specific steps themselves are in a more specific language which testRigor executes out of the box. Like we parse and execute it, and there is the documentation. You can look at it in here of what is possible. Anything you can think of is there, including working with different types of 2FA, emails, text messages, anything you can think of is in there. Moreover, once the test is done, you can go ahead and correct it. As you can see here, it actually did not complete the whole purchase. So we can probably extend that. And we can say, hey, we can just do any Kindle Pay provide and so on and so forth. We can literally fix that and just add additional steps in here and kick it off. And let's look into this. So this was working from more specific prompts, like enter Kindle. So here the prompt was find and select Kindle. So enter Kindle here. Click search in this case. As you can see, it behaves different because I guess of the prompt, which explicitly says find instead of just purchase, where it doesn't matter. So it filtered out specifically Amazon Kindle. Very, very interesting. And then only then it clicked add to cart. I'm not sure why it did do that, but you can clear it up post factum. And then for prompt proceed to cart, it clicked go to cart. And that's it. It's on this last page.
Yep.
And the test itself, it looks like this, and you can correct the steps if you go here. And there are two ways to fix what AI is doing. You can be significantly more specific and fix the prompt itself, or you can uncheck this box and fix the steps. For example, you don't want this, you can uncheck it, and so on and so forth. But now I don't want to do it. I want to show you like why using AI is so much more helpful for destination. One of the probably most important use cases where you would want to have a lot of testing is system migration. Engineers completely rewrite a new version of the system for one version or another, or migrate between versions of SAP or any other reason there is a big rewrite in one way or another. And those rewrites usually are so different that it breaks the tests, right? Automation is not helpful, but you wish you could because the amount of testing that needs to be done is overwhelming. It's gigantic. Everything needs to be retested from scratch, and people are usually doing it manually. So the good news is in case of if you're using AI, you do not need to struggle that much. I hope you are familiar with Newegg. There's another site which doesn't yet block us, newegg.com. They also sell electronics online, and I believe they also sell Kindles. So let's do the following. Let's go ahead and change the URL. And we want to rerun our tests on a different website. Let's click rerun. Yes, please.
Awesome.
So this is completely different website, have nothing to do with bestbuy.com at all whatsoever. So let's see how that's going to happen. So this second one is probably going to fail because it's a little bit too specific. Like it will try to execute these specific steps, which you won't be able to. Actually, yeah, we can correct it, and I'll show you how to fix those. But this, we did not specify any specific tests. Remember, I did not fix the steps for AI, so it's just purely AI based. So let's see how that's going to handle. But we can do it on Amazon. Let's try to do it on Amazon. See, Amazon is still not blocking us.
Sure.
But point being is, I guess I can pull it up somewhere. You will be able to run exactly the same tests. And as soon as your specification from a user's perspective is still true, it should be able to go through. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like it. So basically, the point where Newegg still wasn't blocking us, it basically did go through. So exactly the same test is find and select the Kindle. As you can see here, it enters Kindle in where. Select the Kindle. And then picks some specific one. And that's kind of an issue, right? It's some kind of a skin for Kindle. It's not really Kindle. But then adds to cart, proceed to checkout, and so on and so forth. So point being is you can become more specific and say, hey, like I want Kindle Paperwhite, so it wouldn't accidentally get some skin because it looks like a Kindle. But as you have seen, the steps went through the Newegg website, no problem.
Yeah. Very nice. That was really cool feature, I think. that will allow the testing teams to try executing their script on multiple test environments without making much changes, even multiple similar applications. Very nice, Atom. So one more question is like, how does it fit? How does testRigor fit into the CI/CD ecosystem? Can we kind of integrate this with Jenkins in order to have that touchless script execution after the deployment and so on?
Yes, testRigor had been built for CI/CD. You can. There is a section on the left about CI/CD integration where you can just literally copy paste the bash script for Jenkins or GitHub Actions or anything like this, or for Microsoft technologies where a similar PowerShell script for Azure DevOps you could use. And there is also command line to run test cases from command line, including running it on localhost.
Awesome. And my last question would be, we are running out of time today. But I'm sure there would be similar, cool features would be there because, your tool is enjoying the real power of AI, generative AI. I could see some of the LLM features have been also been leveraged. So my next question would be, how can our followers do some evaluation of testRigor? Do you have some trial, access to the platform?
Yes, it is very simple. testRigor has free and free trial version. If you go to testRigor.com and feel free to go to sign up. You can request a demo, and testRigor team will set things up for you the way you need to and help you to set up the VPN tunnels. If you want to test something inside your VPN, no problem. But here are different plans. You can see how they be different in here. So there are some free trials. And there is the public open source plan. If you are okay that all of your test cases are searchable on the web, including videos and so on and so forth. Actually, some people might even actually want it, right? So we will advertise them for you. We will post on videos of your test executions on Twitter if you use this. So you can get a little bit of advertisement for your skills in there and for all of these results. So if you're okay with that and you don't need any of your stuff to be private, then you can use testRigor for free forever. It's a free version, which not only testRigor is free, infrastructure to run the tests is free in this particular case. But keep in mind, everything will be public. Everything you do and all the data, everything in screenshots and videos of the test cases will be public. So yes, there are these public free and private free trial versions for people to try it out.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, so I think, Atom, that was a great overview on your platform. I believe it might be the tip of the iceberg, probably. There might be similar, powerful features might be there, definitely. Probably it would be great if we can have you in some of our other, platforms for discussions. But today, thank you so much for your time and, taking us through the overview of your platform. Looks like definitely a futuristic AI or generative AI powered platform that can significantly help in optimizing the cost, the velocity, the time, the go-to-market, and the test coverage, reducing the test maintenance effort. It looks like a kind of, I would say magic wand, right? That any test engineers wanted to have it. So we look forward to explore more about the platform, Atem. Thank you so much for all those great insightful thoughts around the industry, where we are heading to, and so on. I really appreciate, and looking forward to another session sometime in future, Tim.
Absolutely, with pleasure.